Blessed day, I am thankful, grateful heart, I am whole. Glory be to the power of this mind that I know. Soulful praise to the wonder, freedom, sing a joyful song. Calling love to the center, lifting all is a one. Blessed day, I am thankful, grateful heart, I am whole. Glory be to the power of this mind that I know. Soulful praise to the wonder, freedom, sing a joyful song. Calling love to the center, lifting all is a one. I sing it now, so it is. Anything I dream, it is. Singing now, so it is. Think bigger now, so it is. I'm holding this vision of peace, knowing a world of harmony. Calling love to the center, lifting all, we are free. Blessed day, I am thankful, grateful heart, I am whole. Glory be to the power of this mind that I know. Soulful praise to the wonder, freedom, sing a joyful song. Calling love to the center, lifting all is one. I sing it now, so it is. Anything I dream, it is. Singing now, so it is. Think bigger now, so it is. I'm holding this vision of peace, knowing a world of harmony. Calling love to the center, lifting all, we are free. I sing it now, so it is. Anything I dream, it is. Singing now, so it is. Think bigger now, so it is. I'm holding this vision of peace, knowing a world of harmony. Calling love to the center, lifting all, we are free. Calling love to the center, lifting all, we are free.
Well, that was a toe tapper. Thank you, Amber. I'm loving it. Okay, well, last week was a week. It was a wild ride. And all I could think of was, who needs to watch drama on TV when you just have to turn on the radio and listen to what's happening? Whoa, babies. So this is not to make any commentary about what happened. What I really want to talk about is, how does a evolving spiritual being react when stuff is happening? Actually, on Wednesday night, I was doing my recording, the thoughts to sleep on, and I, at the very end, used the word shit, and I thought, oh God, oh God, I can't say that. I said, oh goodness, I can't say that. And then I thought, well, but it is kind of shitty, so let's just call it what it is. If the worst thing that I ever do is use that word, then I'm okay. But it was a stuff storm. And how do we react? How am I supposed to react? And then how can I encourage you to react? How does a spiritually evolving person act? Because we are evolving. We are evolving into a greater experience of our spiritual self, so that we can live a spirit-centered life. And in that process, how do we not numb out or gloss over what's happening? And I've got to admit that human beings can be susceptible to wanting to avoid difficult things. Sometimes we want to avoid our children's behavior. Sometimes we want to avoid our parents' health. Sometimes we want to avoid the habits of our coworkers. Sometimes we want to avoid social inequities. We want to avoid it. Just, it's not happening. My world is okay. Evolving spiritual people don't avoid. There is an action that is required, and I just want to share that it was so beautifully stated that I want to repeat it. And this is from Marcus Borg, who is a prominent Christian theologian. And he talks about 3 levels of evolution as we are evolving as spiritual beings, 3 phases that we go through. And you may recognize these phases within yourself or within other people. The first phase he called pre-critical naivete. And that's where everything's just fine. No, it won't happen to me. It's no big deal. It's like, that's true, but not really true. Not really true. This is the stage that teenagers, I know I went through. In my teenage years and my young adult years, there were times when I knew that was dangerous, but it wouldn't happen to me. It doesn't really affect me. I just lived in my own little bubble. Now looking back, I am so grateful that God let me stay alive through what I did out of just naivete. I'm grateful. I'm just so grateful. Knowing now, looking back, seeing the facts and how things could have happened, I'm so grateful. But it was just dumb luck. Some people call this magical thinking. It's I'm going to invest in this and it's going to go really well even though everyone says that it's not going to do well. It's just magical thinking. Then the next phase is critical thinking, which is critical. As we become adults, it's good to have critical thinking. And Marcus Borg explained it this way. Critical thinking is when we figure things out, sifting through the facts to arrive at truth. Many of us dwell entirely in this phase, comparing and judging for the rest of our lives. So we compare, we judge, we analyze, we think about, and so what can happen is we can get stuck there. We're stuck in our head, and we're stuck in our own intelligence, and we're stuck in, if this is a fact, it's going to be a fact, because we don't see anything to change that fact. So some of you may recognize some critical thinkers, and maybe you're a critical thinker. I'm not critical of being a critical thinker. I'm just saying it's called when you're in your head and you're analyzing, and you're making your moves based on facts and how they are laid out and what you can depend on. Then he says there's another phase for the spiritually evolving person, and that is what he calls post-critical naivete. Post-critical naivete. So we had pre-critical, magical thinking, critical, analytical, and then post-critical naivete. Post-critical naivete is in one's spiritual life means choosing to look for the good and praise it, to trust in an unseen power to maintain and inform a yet hopeful view of the present and the future. This despite all the wrongs, the frauds, and the disillusionment that we may be seeing in the present. And he calls them, instead of being a naive person that is into magical thinking, he calls this kind of person the optimist. The optimist often meets someone who tells them that they are missing essential pieces of information. But instead, they're not missing that information, they're just adding to that information. Yes, this is happening, but yes, this can still happen. So they see not only what's happening in the world, but what's happening in the invisible that helps shape the world. So I guess I love it. I would call myself an optimist, but now I have a new term. I'm a post-critical, naive person. And I invite you to be with me. See, what I thought was true for a long time is that if I was naive, I wouldn't do anything. I think some people think that naive people like myself don't do anything. But we do things. Because we have an optimism, we're more likely to act, whether it is boots on ground or prayers in heaven. And heaven is a state of consciousness, by the way. We believe that who we are and what we are makes a difference. The pessimists give up and they give in before starting or right after starting because they really don't think that what they do or what they can do or who they are can make a difference. So I think that being a post-critical, naive person is a powerful place to be because we have optimism. Today's talk title is Pray Your Way to Success. And first service, I actually found myself saying, and caught myself saying, even if we just pray. And I realized that I said just pray, not because I believe that prayer is just a thing, but I think some people think, well, you're just praying. Oh, is that all you're doing is you're just praying? Can't you do more than just pray, like prayer isn't powerful? Well, for me, in my life, prayer is powerful. I have a 50-year history of 60-year history of proving the power of prayer. Even before I knew how powerful it was, I was using it and seeing the effects, and my family was seeing the effects. I believe in the power of prayer, and it's not just anything. So I want to testify to the power of prayer, and let's use it. But I want to share with you how to use it, perhaps. Many people don't use spiritual technology because they think they'll either do it wrong or it won't have an influence. It will always have an influence. And whether you would be praying for a new home, better health, or a world that works for everyone, let's use that influence and to use it more often. So I want to share with you a technique or a technology for what Ernest Holmes called scientific prayer or mind treatment. See, if you treat your mind, it's like if you go and if your body's out, you get a treatment. If your mind's out, you give it a treatment. So you put it back into alignment with your God, with your spiritual center. Or you could call it positive prayer or positive thinking. But what he said about that is that it is the time and process, this treatment or this positive prayer or scientific prayer, is the time or process necessary for shifting your mind, putting it back into alignment. And there's many ways to do that. And today I want to share a way that just works for me right now. And many of you that have been in this movement and have been in this center, you know that we teach 5 steps. Well, this is sort of 5 steps. But I'm going to put more energy on the energy of those steps because energy is important. Energy is the bedrock of this whole universal system. And from energy comes matter. But energy is influenced by thought. So if our thought can influence energy and then influence matter, we have the key to shifting how things show up. And for those of you that are still skeptical, critical thinking, God bless you. In quantum physics, they had an experiment because scientists love to know what things are and how they work. And so scientists wanted to know if light was a wave, because sometimes it acted like a wave, or light was a particle, because sometimes it seemed like a particle. So they set up all these experiments. And what they found is that light could be a particle or light could be a wave, but the thing that determined whether light was a particle or light was a wave was what the observer thought the light would do. When the observer thought that light should be a particle, light became a particle. When the observer thought that light should be a wave, light became a wave. So thought is influencing one of the most basic energy fields in the universe, which is light. It's most likely influencing all energy fields. And energy then becomes matter. It slows down, becomes form, us. So if we can use our thought to work with that energy, then we become the place where something new can show up. Whether it is in our household, our work environment, the world environment, or our cultural environment. We have that power. I feel like a mission impossible. We have a mission for you, if you're willing to accept it. Would you like to change the way the world works? I invite you to try this out. First step. State what the issue is, and then state how you would like it to evolve, or what you want it to become. Now, here's where the first pre-critical, naive person would be. Is that there's no problem. I'm okay. Everything's wonderful. It's not. The critical part of you can say, this is the issue. I have a growing family. We live in a 2-bedroom apartment, and we need more room. That's the issue. What the desire would be then is a larger home for the family and the dogs and the cats. For me, it was a larger home for the dog and the cat and the horses, although they don't live in the house. In a parable that is called the feeding of the 5,000, Jesus was he had a bunch of people around him. I saw these hills that are amazing. So he was up on a hill, a bunch of people down below. It's like an amphitheater. He's talking to them, and his disciples come along and say, hey, we really should let them go. They can go home and have lunch or dinner or whatever it was. And he says, no, I'm on a roll. I want to talk. Let's feed them. Crazy idea. Let's feed them. They said, we can't feed them. We don't have enough food. Well, how much do we have? And they told him how many loaves of bread and fishes they had. See, he wasn't ignoring the facts. In fact, actually, out of the facts, he could create something. We don't ignore facts. If you have been given a medical diagnosis, you don't ignore the medical diagnosis. If you make a certain amount of money, don't avoid or ignore what you make. That's craziness. That will get you into debt. I know people who do not want to balance their checkbook because they don't want to know how much money they've got. That's craziness. That's a naivete that does not get you where you want to go. No, you state what you want. You state what's going on. In our country right now, there is division. There is division. There is division in politics and thinking in my friends. I stated that on Wednesday night or Thursday, I said, my heart hurts. I'm angry and all this others, but at the bottom of this, my heart hurts. And there was political discourse on my Facebook page when all I said was that my heart hurt, and people arguing about things that had nothing to do with my heart. People just like to argue and state their case anywhere they can. I had a wonderful woman who, after first service, emailed me and said, I know about the division. In fact, there's a division in my own consciousness. Do I go here? Do I go there? I think this, and then I think this. There's division. This is my critical assessment. It may not be yours. But see, if I see this division, then what I want is harmony and cooperation and respect and dialogue. This is what I see. This is what I want. I don't really know how to claim what I want if I'm not willing to see what's going on. If we have a medical verdict, then we know what we want to pray for if it's ourself. I want a healing. I want to know wholeness. I want my heart to be well, whatever's going on. So we state what we want by acknowledging what we have. Emma Curtis Hopkins said that for 80% of us, we would have an instantaneous healing if we could articulate what our good was. A lot of people, I don't know what my good is. Well, what's bugging you? If you know what bugs you, it's easier to know what would not bug you. First step. Second step, feel it. What you want to move into, which for me would be harmony, what you want to move into has a feeling. It affects your body a certain way. Discord affects my body a certain way. It makes my heart hurt. Harmony and cooperation affects me in another way. It feels different. And one of the reasons that it feels different is that it has a different vibration. Discord vibrates in a certain way, and harmony vibrates in another way, a much higher vibration. And so I want to have that vibration, I want to hold it so that it starts to vibrate through me, that I become the place where harmony and cooperation take place. Eddie Watkins Jr. had that great song that I sometimes play in my head, not play. But in my head I play this. I am the place where God shows up. So I would be the place where God shows up as harmony. I'm the place where harmony's got to happen. I'm the place where heaven's got to happen. But it's not just a platitude, it's not a thought, because Ernest Holmes said a thought plus a feeling will equal a result. So I've got to have the feeling. And I realize the feeling sets about a vibration in us. And that's important. Otherwise, we're just talking a good talk. And before we can walk the good walk, we need to be filled with a certain type of energy, the energy of what we want to accomplish in our life, whether it's our life, the life of our family, or the life of our country. Now, number 3, hold that vibration, be the result you want. If it's for health, hold the vibration of God's life and God's vitality flowing through you. Donald Thorpe is here. He's going to do our benediction. I remember him praying for certain things. And I bet you anything that he not only said the words, but he also held the vibration of it, didn't you? Got the feeling. And that's why he would have so many miracles in his life. That's why he has the life that he has. Because it's not just thought. It's also being willing to have that thought change the energy within him, like the observer could change light into a wave. If I want a world that works for everyone, or at least a country that does, for me, I'm called to be the vibration of harmony. For me, I'm called to be the vibration of harmony. The vibration of inclusion. Your decision to choose the frequency or vibration changes you. Now, here's the 4th step. Be willing to transmit that. Last night I got a new parable. Something within me said, "Verily, verily, you are the Orbe of God." Now let me tell you a little bit about what an Orbe is, for those of you that don't know. We live way out in the country, and our internet provider has not increased its infrastructure to the degree that it can serve all the new houses that are happening around us. So what arrives at our house is getting weaker and weaker. So Tim bought an amplifier, if you will, called an Orbe from Costco. And it takes the energy in takes the input in from the modem, amplifies it, and then spreads it out throughout the house. Otherwise, there's only one chair I can sit in to use internet. And it's not a chair that I want to sit in. So this takes it, amplifies it, spreads it out. We are the Orbe of God. We're not just supposed to take this energy and change our life. We are to amplify it and spread it out. And maybe that's why in this one beautiful verse from the Bible that I've always loved, I get it now. Mary, when she knew that she was going to be used by God to create an enlightened person in the world, she says, "My soul doth magnify the Lord." My soul, I've taken in the energy, I've taken in health and vitality, I've taken in wealth and prosperity, I've taken in creativity and action, I've taken in harmony and cooperation. Whatever it is that you say about God, you take it in, you let it shift your life, and then you amplify it out. Maybe one of the reasons why New Thought isn't the power that it could be is that we're doing all this for us. For me and my family and whoever calls upon me. No, what if we just, I'm the place where God shows up. I'm the place where God shows up, because you can be. I don't even know how to do that. If God says, be the Orbe of God, then it knows that I can be. And if I can be, I'm just going to decide I am. Right now, what do you want to see in the world? Are you willing to be that? And are you willing to say, I am that, and I am magnifying that, and I'm spreading it all over the place? Emma said in one of her statements, I am contagious with the living Spirit. Fire me with a holy contagion. She didn't know about Orbes. Now she'd probably say, yeah, make me the Orbe of God. Let's do this. Let's do this. What would you like to see in this world? What would you like to see in your family? What would you like to see in your body? What do you want to see in your finances? That's just the first step. What is it? Based on what you've already got. Now, take a deep breath. And let that word be a decision in your consciousness. Let that word be a decision to choose that consciousness. It's like, and consciousness now knows how to start to vibrate at that level. Breathe into it. Thought is choosing the energy and the vibration that lives within your consciousness now. And now, with each breath, imagine that that consciousness is escaping you and growing larger. So the consciousness of love or plenty or support or supply or creativity or wisdom or intelligence or harmony or heaven itself is moving out from you. And you are amplifying it and magnifying it, because that is what human beings have evolved into. We have evolved so that we can magnify the Lord. In Sanskrit, the word for man, and I'm sure they meant humans, but they said man. The word for Sanskrit, the word in Sanskrit for man meant to dispense. We are here to dispense what we can become aware of. We've evolved to become aware of the magnificence of the Most High. And we have evolved to touch that in consciousness and be touched by it. We have evolved so that we can decide to be it, to be changed by it at depth. And we have decided, we can decide to give it out. There are so many people that can give out their hate. So many people that can give out their problems. So many people that can give out lies and theories. Let's give out love. Ernest Holmes said if he could get 1,000 people to agree upon a prayer, we could shift the world. Will you agree with me today? To be to embody, and to broadcast. That's a way to pray. And so it is.